If you're facing something that feels impossible to solve, if you've tried everything and nothing's changed, there's a gesture. So simple you can do it at home, yet so powerful it has changed the lives of thousands over centuries. A single rose, placed in the right spot, on the right day, in the way Padre Pio taught. By the end of this story, you'll understand why so many graces have been achieved through this seemingly ordinary act. Why a rose? Why specifically September 8th? And why Padre Pio guarded this secret like a treasure his entire life. But before I tell you how to do it, I need to tell you what happened in that convent in San Giovanni Rotondo. It was a September morning, and Padre Pio was alone in the chapel. What he saw in that moment would forever change how we see devotion to Our Lady. Have you ever wondered why some people receive extraordinary graces through such simple gestures, while others make complex promises, endless novenas, and nothing happens? The answer lies hidden in the secret language between heaven and earth, a language that Our Lady personally taught to a few chosen saints, and Padre Pio was one of them. Imagine for a moment, you're holding a rose in your hands, fresh red rose, still with a few dewdrops on the petals. You smell its sweet fragrance rising to your nostrils. Feel the velvety texture of the petals between your fingers. Now imagine, this rose isn't just a flower. It's a prayer that needs no words. It's a request that goes straight to the heart of Mary. It's a key that opens doors in heaven you didn't even know existed. But why specifically a rose? The answer will surprise you. It's not because the rose is beautiful. It's not because it's fragrant. The reason is far deeper than you imagine. Padre Pio used to say that each petal of a rose holds a mystery. And when Our Lady receives a rose offered with true faith, she sees much more than a simple flower. She sees your unshed tears, your unconfessed fears, your unrealized dreams. She sees everything you can't put into words. But that's written in your heart. And that's why the gesture is so simple. Because Mary doesn't need elaborate speeches. She needs your truth, your simplicity, your heart open like a rose, surrendering completely. Now, you must be wondering, but what's the importance of September 8th? This date wasn't chosen by chance. This day carries a special celestial energy. It's the day we celebrate the birth of Our Lady. The day the child who would be the Mother of God came into the world to begin the most perfect plan in history. Imagine heaven on this day. The angels singing, the stars dancing, all of creation celebrating the arrival of the one who would be the bridge between the human and the divine. It's on this day, specifically this day, that Mary's heart opens in a unique way to receive our pleas. Padre Pio discovered this in an extraordinary way. He used to offer roses to Our Lady on various occasions, but it was one September 8th morning that something different happened. He was in the chapel, as he always did, at the big rose in his hand, simple rose, picked from the convent garden. As he approached the image of Our Lady of Graces, something happened that he would never forget. The rose began to exhale a different fragrance. It wasn't the normal scent of a rose. It was a celestial perfume, a fragrance he had never smelled before. In that moment, he understood he had discovered something sacred. But the story doesn't end there. In the following days, Padre Pio began to receive letters from people he didn't even know, people who lived in other countries, other cities, other realities, all telling the same thing. On September 8th, at the same time he had offered that rose, they had received extraordinary graces, inexplicable cures, solutions to impossible problems, family reconciliations that seemed lost forever. How was this possible? The answer lies in the mysterious nature of Marian intercession. You offer a rose to Our Lady on the day of her birth. You're participating in a cosmic celebration. You're adding your intention to the joy of all of heaven. And Mary, on the day she celebrates her own life, has a special disposition to bestow graces. It's as if it's her birthday and she wants to give gifts to all her children. There's something even deeper. The rose you offer on September 8th doesn't just stay on earth. It's mystically transported to Mary's heavenly garden. There she keeps it as an eternal memorial of your faith. Every time she looks at that rose, she remembers your need, your plea, the love you put into that gesture. That's why so many people report that their prayers were answered not only on September 8th, but also in the following months. Because the rose remains there in Mary's garden, silently interceding for you. Padre Pio used to explain this poetically. He said that when we offer a rose to Our Lady, we're planting a seed of hope in the divine heart. And this seed grows, blossoms, and bears fruit in our lives, in ways we don't always understand immediately. You might be thinking, that's all very nice, but how do I know it will work in my situation? This is the question everyone asks, and the answer lies in the experiences of those who have already lived this devotion. Emily Carter was living through a broken marriage. 20 years of marriage seemed to have come to an end. Arguments were daily. Coldness had taken over the house. The children suffered watching their parents constantly fight. She had already tried couples therapy. She had done novenas. She had asked for help from various saints. Nothing seemed to work. Divorce seemed inevitable. That's when a friend told her about the rose of September 8th. Initially, Emily doubted. How could a simple rose solve years of marital problems? But the pain was so great that she decided to try. On September 8th, in the morning, she bought a red rose. She arrived home before her husband woke up. She placed the rose before the image of Our Lady that was in the living room, and she offered a simple prayer from the bottom of her heart. Our Lady, if it's truly true that you listen, especially on this day, I ask that you heal my marriage. I can't take it anymore, watching my family destroying itself. That same day, something changed. Her husband came home from work with a different disposition. For the first time in months, he asked about her day. He noticed the rose in front of the picture. He wanted to know why it was there. Emily Carter explained, and to his surprise, instead of mocking her, as he usually did with her devotions, he fell silent, a respectful silence. In the following days, the arguments lessened, conversations increased, smiles returned. In 3 months, they were in couples therapy together. 6 months, they had renewed their wedding vows. Today, 5 years later, Emily still places a rose before Our Lady every September 8th, no longer asking to save her marriage, but thanking her for the united family she managed to regain. Cases like this are repeated around the world. Joseph Carlos had been unemployed for 2 years. He had sent resumes to hundreds of companies. He had done dozens of interviews. Nothing. The family was experiencing financial hardship. Their home was about to be lost. September 8th, his mother, a devout follower of Padre Pio, asked him to place a rose before the image of Our Lady. "At least try, my son," she said. Joseph Carlos didn't believe much in these things, but the situation was desperate. He took a rose from the neighbor's garden, with permission, of course, placed it before the image, offered a clumsy prayer. Company he didn't even remember sending a resume to was offering a job. Salary was better than he vacation was perfect. Paid off his debts. He saved his home. And to this day, every September 8th, he places a rose for Our Lady, no longer asking for work, thanking her for the opportunity that she might be thinking, it's just coincidence. You hear dozens of accounts like these. You see the pattern repeating. When you realize that it always involves September 8th, always involves a rose, and always involves a real change in people's lives, you begin to understand that something bigger is happening. Something that transcends our rational explanation. Something that belongs to the realm of something that Padre Pio understood deeply and wanted to share with us. But for this gesture to truly work, it needs to be done correctly. It's not just about placing any flower anywhere. There are important details, all the difference. First, it needs to be a rose. It cannot be another flower. The rose carries specific symbolism that is fundamental to this devotion. It represents pure love, total surrender, the beauty that arises from sacrifice. Second, it needs to be offered specifically on September 8th. It's no use doing it on another day thinking it will have the same result. This day has a unique celestial energy, a special opening in Mary's heart. Third, it needs to be placed before an image of Our Lady. It doesn't matter which invocation. It could be Our Lady of Guadalupe, Our Lady of Fatima, Our Lady of Graces, Our Lady of Mount Carmel. The important thing is that it's an image that truly represents the Mother of God. Fourth, the gesture must come from the heart. It's no use doing it mechanically, just for the sake of doing it. There must be true faith, sincere intention, a real openness to receive the grace you are asking for. Here's a detail that few know. Padre Pio always advised that the rose be offered in the morning, if possible, before 9 o'clock. This is the time when Mary was born, according to mystical revelations. It's the time of day when she is most willing to hear our pleas. There's another secret that Padre Pio only taught to those very close to him. Before placing the rose before the image, you should hold it between your hands for a few moments. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and transfer to that rose everything you are feeling. Your anguish, your hope, your fear, your trust, your tears. Let all of this permeate that flower. Make it a vessel of all your feelings. Only then, place the rose before the image. Say a simple prayer in your own words. It doesn't have to be a memorized prayer. It doesn't have to be eloquent. It needs to be true. Our Lady, I place this rose before your image on this special day of your birth. Along with it, I place my heart, my needs, my trust in your intercession. Please grant me the grace I so desperately need. And then, simply wait. Entrust your situation into Mary's hands, because from that moment on, you are no longer alone in your struggle. You have the most powerful intercession of heaven working in your favor. Here's something important you need to understand. The graces obtained through this devotion don't always come in the way we expect. Not always in the time we would like, and not always in the way we imagine. Mary is a wise mother. She knows what is best for each child. Sometimes what we ask for is not. Sometimes what we need is something much greater, much better than what we are seeing. Therefore, along with your plea, also make an act of surrender. Our Lady, I trust in your maternal wisdom. If what I am asking for is truly good for me and for everyone involved, please help me. But if there is something better waiting for me that I cannot see right now, then may God's will be done through your intercession. This attitude of openness and trust is fundamental, because sometimes grace comes exactly as we ask. But other times, it comes in an even more surprising and blessed way. Anna Paula prayed to save her engagement that was ending. She placed the rose on September 8th. The engagement did end. She was devastated, thinking that the devotion hadn't worked. 6 months later, she met the man who would become her husband. Someone much better for her. Someone who truly loved her, who respected her beliefs, who wanted to build a strong family with her. Today she understands. Lady didn't save the engagement because she knew that something better was waiting. Grace came, yes, but in a way she never imagined. And that's how Mary acts. Like a mother who sees beyond what her children can see. Like someone who has access to divine plans and knows exactly what each one needs to be truly happy. Therefore, place your rose on September 8th. Do so with this certainty. You are placing your life in the hands of the wisest, most loving, most powerful mother there is. And she never abandons a child who turns to her with sincere faith. Maybe you're wondering, what if I was on that day? What if I'm traveling? What if I don't have a picture of Our Lady? These are understandable concerns. The beauty of this devotion lies precisely in its simplicity and adaptability. You can't get a fresh rose, you can use an artificial one. What matters is not the rose itself, but faith with which you offer it. Mary looks to the heart, not to the flower. If you're traveling, you can perform the devotion in any church, any chapel, any Marian image you find, or even in your hotel room, before a small image you carry in your wallet. You don't have an image at home. This is an invitation to get one. It doesn't have to be large or expensive. It could be a small medal, a holy card, a printed image from the internet. The important thing is that it truly represents Our Lady. Here's something you may not know. You place an image of Our Lady in your home, you're not just decorating. You are creating a point of light, a channel of blessings, an open door to heaven within your home. Padre Pio used to say that a house with an image of Our Lady is a protected house, a house where demons don't easily enter, a house where the peace of God dwells in a special way. Therefore, if you don't already have a Marian image at home, get one before next September 8th. And when you place that first rose before it, you'll be starting a tradition that can transform not only your life, but the lives of your entire family. Because this devotion has a multiplying power. When you practice it with sincere faith, it extends to all the people you love. Mary doesn't just bless the one making the request. She blesses the entire family, all the bonds, all the situations related to that person. Charlotte started placing the rose Our Lady, praying for the healing of her son's depression. In a few months, not only did her son improve, but the whole family underwent a transformation. Her husband found a better job. Her daughter received a scholarship. Charlotte herself discovered a vocation she didn't know she had and started a small business that quickly prospered. That's how Mary works. She doesn't just solve the specific problem we ask for. She looks at our entire life and begins to fix everything that needs fixing. She starts opening paths that were closed. She begins to heal wounds we didn't even know existed. And all this through the simplest gesture in the world, placing a rose before her image on the day of her birth. But there's another aspect of this devotion that few know. It's perhaps the most important of all. You offer a rose to Our Lady on September 8th. You're not just asking for a favor. You are joining a worldwide chain of prayer that forms on this day. Thousands of people around the world make this same gesture on this same date. Catholics in Brazil, Italy, the Philippines, Mexico, Poland, in dozens of countries, all offering their roses, their requests, their hopes. And this union of intentions creates an extraordinary spiritual force. It's as if all these prayers unite in a single supplication that rises to heaven with multiplied power. Mary receives not only your individual rose, but the bouquet of roses from all her children scattered across the world. And before this collective demonstration of love and faith, her maternal heart moves in a special way. So, when you place your rose next September 8th, remember, you're not doing this alone. You are joining a worldwide family of devotees who trust in Mary's intercession. You are participating in a celebration that transcends borders, cultures, nationalities. You are becoming part of something much bigger than yourself. And Mary, seeing this union of her children, is deeply moved. It's as if all her children remember her birthday at the same time, bringing flowers and requests, but above all, bringing love. There is an extraordinary force in this global synchronicity, a spiritual energy that manifests itself in surprising ways in the life of each participant. Many people report feeling something different in the air on September 8th. Special peace, renewed hope, an intimate certainty that their prayers have been heard. It's the power of collective prayer. It's the tangible manifestation of what Jesus said, "Where two or three are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them." Imagine what happens. Thousands gather in prayer on the same day, offering roses to the same Heavenly Mother. And now, before I tell you exactly how to do this devotion step by step, I need to tell you something that will deeply move you. The last person Padre Pio guided about the rose of September 8th was a young woman who had been given up for dead by doctors. She was only 23 years old and had received a terminal diagnosis. Doctors gave her a maximum of 6 months to live. She traveled to San Giovanni Rotondo in a last attempt at hope. She managed to speak briefly with Padre Pio after a mass. Through tears, she told him her situation. Padre Pio looked at her with those penetrating eyes that seemed to see beyond matter. He placed his hand on her head and simply said, "Daughter, on September 8th, place a red rose before Our Lady of Graces and trust." Turned home without fully understanding, but on the indicated day, she did exactly what Padre Pio had instructed. She placed a red rose before the image of Our Lady of Graces she had at home. She prayed with all the faith she could muster. 2 weeks later, she returned to the doctor for routine checkups. The results left the entire medical team perplexed. There was no longer any sign of the disease. None. As if she had never been sick. Today, 40 years later, she is still alive. She married, had children, grandchildren, and every September 8th, exception, she bore Our Lady of Graces, no longer asking for healing, but thanking for the extra 40 years of life she gained through this simple devotion. This story takes us to the heart of the mystery. Why precisely a rose? Why exactly on September 8th? Why did Padre Pio guard this knowledge like a sacred? The answer is hidden in the revelations he received directly from Our Lady. It was the year 1968. Padre Pio was very ill, nearing the end of his earthly life. During one of his mystical visions, Our Lady appeared to him and revealed secrets he had never fully shared. She She explained that the rose is the only flower that carries within it all aspects of divine love. Its petals represent the delicacy of maternal love. Its thorns represent the sacrifices a mother makes for her children. Its fragrance, the prayers that ascend to heaven. Its crimson hue, the blood shed out of love. Most importantly, she explained that on the day of her earthly birth, September 8th, there's a special opening between heaven and earth, a temporal window where her intercessions are multiplied in power. It's as if, on this specific day, the veil separating the physical and spiritual worlds thins, and through this opening, graces flow more easily to those who know how to access them. Padre Pio then understood he'd uncovered one of the most powerful keys to Marian intercession, and decided to share this knowledge only with those who demonstrated true faith and genuine need. But there's something even deeper to this revelation. Our Lady explained that when someone offers a rose on her birthday, that person is doing exactly what the angels did on the day of her birth, bringing heavenly flowers to celebrate the arrival of the one who would be the mother of the Savior. It's a mystical participation in heaven's joy, a communion with celestial beings who to this day celebrate that glorious day. That's why the response is so powerful. You're not just asking for a grace, you're participating in a cosmic celebration. You're joining the angelic choir, singing praises to the Mother of God. Mary, seeing this attitude of love and celebration, cannot deny anything to a child who approaches her in this way. Now that you understand the spiritual depth of this devotion, let me teach you exactly how to practice it to achieve the best results. First step, choosing the rose. Ideally, it should be a red rose. This color represents ardent love, the passion for life, the vital force that moves all things. But if you can't find a red one, you can use a pink rose, which represents maternal tenderness, or a white one, which represents the purity of intention. Rose should be fresh, if possible. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can have some thorns, some imperfect petals. In fact, the humblest roses often achieve the most extraordinary graces. You grow the rose yourself, even better, as along with the flower, you'll also be offering your care, your dedication, the love you put into making it grow. But if you don't have a garden, don't worry. Buy one from a florist. What matters is not where you got the rose, but the love with which you offer it. Second step, inner preparation. September 8th, wake up early, if possible, before sunrise. This is a special time of day. The world is still silent, and your soul can connect more easily with the divine. Take a bath. Wear clean clothes, preferably something you like and that makes you feel respectful. Preparing for a sacred encounter. A light fast. Don't eat anything for at least 2 hours before doing the devotion. This prepares your body and soul to receive the graces to come. Third step, the moment of offering. Feel its weight, its texture, its fragrance. Close your eyes for a few minutes. Breathe deeply. This moment, say a silent prayer. Tell Our Lady everything that's in your heart. Your joys, your sorrows, your fears, your hopes. Let all of this permeate that rose. Now, approach the image of Our Lady. Look at her with affection, with respect, with the confidence of a child approaching their mother. Place the rose gently before the image, and then, in your own words, say your prayer. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be something simple like, Our Lady, on this special day of your birth, I offer you this rose along with my heart. Please, intercede for me with your son Jesus. help me with this situation that so distresses me. I trust in your maternal love, or it can be even simpler. Mary, dear mother, I need you. Please don't abandon me. What's important is that it comes from the bottom of your heart, that it's true, sincere, humble. Fourth step, the moment of surrender. After saying your prayer, stay a few minutes in silence before the image. Just contemplate Mary's face. Let her maternal presence envelop your heart. This moment, make a total surrender. Trust your situation, your worries, your entire life into Our Lady's hands. Trust that she knows what's best for you. And then shed all anxiety. Don't keep thinking about how or when the grace will arrive. Just trust. Just wait. Just live each day with the certainty that Mary is taking care of everything. Fifth step, anticipatory gratitude. This is a secret that few know, but it makes all the difference. Start thanking for the grace even before receiving it. Every day, until the grace manifests, say a short prayer of thanks. Thank you, Our Lady, for the grace that's already on its way. Thank you for never abandoning me. This attitude of anticipatory gratitude demonstrates your total faith in Mary, and she is deeply moved by this trust from her children. And now let me tell you something that can further accelerate the process. Padre Pio taught that after offering the rose on September 8th, the person should do a short novena of thanksgiving. 9 days in a row, praying the rosary, always thanking for Our Lady's intercession. It's not a novena of petition, it's a novena of gratitude. This creates a very powerful spiritual energy that attracts blessings in an accelerated way. During these 9 days, keep the rose before the image for as long as possible. When it starts to wilt, don't throw it away. Dry the petals and keep them in a sacred container, as if they were relics. These dried petals carry the prayers and blessings of that special day. You can use them in times of special difficulty, placing some in water and drinking with faith, or carrying some in your wallet as protection. But maybe you're wondering, what if I do all this and the grace still doesn't come? This is an important question. The answer will surprise you. In fact, the grace always comes. Always. What happens is, it doesn't always come in the way we expect. Not always in the time we don't always recognize it immediately. Sometimes we ask for one thing, and Our Lady gives us something even better. Sometimes we ask for a door to open, and she closes that door to open a much wider window. Sometimes we ask to solve a problem. She gives us the strength to go through it in a way that makes us better people. Roberto applied for a specific job at a company he admired. He made the rose devotion on September 8th. Didn't get the job. He was 3 months later, an old colleague invited him to be a partner in a new business. Today, he's a successful entrepreneur. He earns far more than he would have as an employee, and he has the freedom he always dreamed of. Grace came, but in a way he never imagined. Sandra prayed for her failing marriage. Her husband was an alcoholic and violent. She believed her love could change him. Made the rose devotion. The marriage ended anyway. She escaped that toxic situation with dignity. She rebuilt her financial life. She successfully raised her children alone. 5 years later, she met a wonderful man who truly loves and respects her. The grace wasn't saving a bad marriage. The grace was freeing her to find true love. That's why it's so important to make this devotion with an open heart. Ask for what you desire, but trust in Mary's wisdom to discern what's truly best for you. There's another important aspect you need to know. This rose devotion isn't magic. It's not a talisman. It's not an automatic formula where you put in a coin and receive a product. It's an act of faith. a gesture of love, a demonstration of trust in Mary's maternal intercession. And like any authentic relationship, it requires sincerity, perseverance, and openness to spiritual growth. Many people who practice this devotion discover that their lives not only improve in practical aspects, but also transform spiritually. They become more patient, more compassionate, more confident in divine providence. It's as if the rose offered to Mary plants seeds of virtues that blossom over time. Clara began the devotion praying for the healing of an illness. The illness was cured, but she realized other things had changed in her life as well. She was more serene, more grateful, more attentive to the needs of others. She started volunteering. She found a vocation she didn't know she had. Today, she coordinates a social project that has helped hundreds of families. The grace of physical healing brought with it an even deeper spiritual healing. This is what happens when we truly approach Mary. She doesn't just solve our problems. She transforms us into better people. And now, let me tell you what is perhaps the most beautiful aspect of this devotion. When you offer a rose to Our Lady on September 8th, you're not just asking for something for yourself. You are also interceding for all of Mary's other children who are struggling at that moment. Your rose carries not only your personal intentions, also a silent prayer for the healing of the sick, for the protection of families. Seeing this generosity of your heart is moved even more. She sees that you are not thinking of self, but also of the good of all humanity. This attitude of universal love enormously enhances the power of your devotion. It's as if you're multiplying your chances of receiving graces, because you're uniting yourself with the needs of the entire human family. So, when you pray on September 8th, don't forget to include this universal intention. Our Lady, along with my personal request, I also pray for peace in the world, for the healing of all the sick, for the conversion of all sinners, for the protection of all families. This small addition to your prayer can be the key that unlocks even greater blessings for your life. And there's another special tradition you can adopt if you want to deepen your devotion even further. After September 8th, on the 8th of each month, place a small flower before the image of Our Lady. It could be a smaller rose, or even a flower from your garden. The important thing is to keep burning that flame of devotion that you lit on Mary's birthday. Many people who do this report that their lives become increasingly blessed, as if that monthly offering were constantly renewing the protection and intercession of Our Lady. It's a way to keep alive the memory of that special day, to continue celebrating Mary's life every month. Constantly renew your trust in her maternal intercession. But even if you choose to do it only on September 8th, it will be enough to transform your life in ways you can't even imagine. And now, before I finish, I need to tell you about the last miracle I witnessed related to this devotion. It was September 2019. An elderly woman, 78 years old, was hospitalized in a terminal state. The doctors had told the family it was a matter of hours. She had been unconscious for 3 days. This lady's daughter was a devotee of Padre Pio and knew about the rose devotion. On September 8th, she brought a red rose to the hospital room. She placed it on the bedside table next to her mother's bed. She offered an emotional prayer. Our Lady, if it is God's will, allow my mother to awaken to say goodbye to us, so that she may depart in peace, knowing that she is loved. 2 hours later, the elderly woman opened her eyes. She was lucid, conscious. She talked to all her children, gave her last advice, blessed her grandchildren, asked forgiveness for any hurt she may have caused. She spent 3 days lovingly saying goodbye to her entire family. On the 4th day, she slept peacefully, with a smile on her face. She departed with the serenity of someone who had fulfilled her mission on earth. Family was devastated by the loss, but also deeply grateful, because Our Lady had granted what truly mattered: a dignified farewell, a serene passing, a peaceful death. The grace wasn't the physical cure. The grace was the emotional healing of an entire family that could say a proper goodbye. This story teaches us something fundamental. Mary's graces always arrive. They are not always the graces we ask for. They are always the graces we truly need. Now you have in your hands a treasure that few know. You know how to access one of the most powerful forms of intercession that exists. You have discovered the secret that Padre Pio guarded like a diamond throughout his life. But this knowledge also brings a responsibility. You receive graces through this devotion. Don't keep it to yourself. Tell other people who are struggling. Share this hope with those who need it. Be an instrument of Mary to bring comfort to other troubled hearts. Because this is Our Lady's will, that her children help each other. May they form a great family of love and support. A family where each member is a conduit for divine blessings, sharing their graces with one another. You share this devotion with someone who's suffering. You're not just passing along information. You're planting seeds of hope in a heart that might be about to give up. You are offering a lifeline, a beacon in the darkness. And Mary, seeing this generosity, blesses your life even more. Because those who help others draw closer to Mary, automatically become more dear to her heart. She sees the selfless act, the compassionate spirit, and rewards it tenfold. And now, as you plan your devotion for next September 8th, let me offer one final piece of advice. Don't wait for your life to be perfect to begin. Don't wait to solve all your problems before approaching Mary. Come as you are, with your flaws, your fears, your imperfections. Mary is a mother, and a mother doesn't only love her child when they're clean and presentable. A mother loves her child most when they are hurt and need a comforting embrace. She embraces the brokenness, the vulnerability, and holds them close. Your imperfections are not obstacles to receiving grace. On the contrary, they are bridges that bring you closer to Mary's merciful heart. They are the very things that make your faith genuine. Come with humility. Come with simple faith. Come with an open heart. Prepare to be surprised by how a single rose can completely transform your life. Because on September 8th, when you place that rose before the image of Our Lady, you won't just be performing a devotion. You'll be participating in a mystery of love that connects earth to heaven. You'll be joining a tradition that has been transforming lives for centuries. You'll be accessing a power of intercession that has worked thousands of miracles throughout history. And most importantly, you'll be personally experiencing Mary's maternal love, a love that never fails, a love that never abandons, a love that always finds a way to succor her children. The rose you offer is small, simple, ordinary. Mary's hands, it be a powerful instrument of transformation, a channel of grace, a key that unlocks the doors of the impossible. Prepare your heart, prepare your rose, prepare your faith, because your life is about to change in a way you never thought possible. A profound shift, a gentle yet powerful change. And when the grace arrives, not if, but when, you will understand why Padre Pio considered this devotion one of the most precious treasures he received. from heaven. Understand why a simple rose, offered on the right day, with the right heart, can move mountains, can open pathways, can transform the impossible into reality. Starting next September 8th, your story can begin to be written in a completely new way. Golden ink of Marian graces, with the gentle but irresistible force of Our Lady's maternal love. A new chapter, a fresh beginning. Your rose is waiting for you. Mary is waiting for you. Heaven is waiting for you. Don't let this opportunity pass. Some doors open only once a year. This is one of them. A rare and precious chance. On September 8th, when the sun rises, remember, not just another day, it's the birthday of the Mother of God. It's the day when heaven leans down especially to hear the pleas of its children on earth. A day of immense spiritual significance. And you, with your rose in hand and faith in your heart, will be one of those privileged children who dared to believe in the power of Mary's maternal love.